I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
That, of course, is Ghislaine Maxwell, famously one of the most notorious sex predators in American history and one of the most tampered witnesses in recent American history, talking about how Donald Trump's never done anything wrong. He never got a massage. He was never inappropriate with anyone. He never cheated in golf. He never painted a strange orange circle on the front of his head or anything. He never did anything wrong. Please set me free. Well, they cut that part out. They redacted the please set me free. But Ghislaine Maxwell apparently gave Trump a full, healthy bill of sexual predator health. He didn't do anything wrong. And a lot of Republicans are running to take this evidence, I suppose, and declare victory on the Epstein files, but not all of them though. Some of them are a little bit more critical. Let's jump to this.
She might as well have taken out Donald Trump or President Trump and said, the man who can pardon me has never done anything wrong. The man who can pardon me has always been wonderful. I commend the man who can pardon me for being reelected. Look, Ghislaine Maxwell recruited 15, 16-year-old girls to be sex slaves to Jeffrey Epstein. And she was convicted of that in federal court. Why should we believe a damn thing Ghislaine Maxwell has to say about anyone? Now, that doesn't make Donald Trump guilty of anything. In fact, in my own experience, John, I don't think Donald Trump had anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein that was untoward or illegal. But we're gonna believe Ghislaine Maxwell? Give me a break.
Yeah, I think he goes too far in asserting that obviously Donald Trump would never do anything wrong. But yeah, why would you believe Ghislaine Maxwell? She's a monster in vaguely human form. That's all she is. And why are the Republicans being so cool about Maxwell? Her being moved to like a minimum security resort prison or whatever is not even a thing anybody talks about anymore. That massive gift that was given to this sexual predator by the head of the political movement that supposedly cares about sexual predators more than anyone else. Let me ask you a question that I don't think I've heard anyone ask. Why is Donald Trump not calling for the death penalty for Ghislaine Maxwell for her horrid crimes, her sexual crimes against children? Not just him. Why are none of these Republicans calling for the death penalty? I mean, I know that it's too late. She's not gonna get it or whatever. They call for the death penalty for way less stuff. The dude who threw the sandwich in DC is more likely to get the death penalty than Ghislaine Maxwell. And he doesn't seem to care at all. Doesn't talk about the victims. Doesn't have one harsh word for Ghislaine Maxwell. And of course not. He needs her cooperation. That's how his bread is buttered. But while Chris Christie is willing to point out how obviously biased she's going to be, how she's been tampered with, how she knows how she's gonna get her freedom, others are pretending that Ghislaine Maxwell saying he didn't do anything means anything at all. Here's Jim Jordan.
Of course, this confirms what we all knew. If the Democrats, if President Trump had done something wrong, you don't think the Democrats would have released that? I mean, it was their Justice Department who handled all this. You don't think the Garland Justice Department and the Chris Wray FBI would have released information? We knew President Trump didn't do anything wrong here. He said that repeatedly. This transcript is the whole transcript, and it confirms that. So yeah, I think this is there's nothing there. It seems based on what we got from the interview of Miss Maxwell.
Okay, so it's the whole transcript. We were asking for like the whole documents. I don't care about the whole transcript of Ghislaine Maxwell desperate to be freed talking with Donald Trump's former personal lawyer. That does not mean nearly as much. And again, I'll say what I said on the Young Turks on Friday. It might be that she's being honest and that Trump hasn't done anything. But what Donald Trump has done is set up a situation where no reasonable person can just trust her because the entire thing is so obviously self-serving and corrupt. And so you just can't take it at word. And by the way, did they just like, is Jim Jordan commenting on this as some sort of like ironic cosmic joke? Like we're talking about somebody who like facilitated or perhaps just knew about sex crimes against kids, and we bring Jim Jordan of all people to comment on that. You'd think he might want to sit this one out, you know? Just like you somehow are still a free man, Jim Jordan, There's been no justice yet where you're concerned, and you're jumping in to comment on this one. Maybe sit this one out. Jared, what do you think?
Isn't it kind of weird? No, it's not weird. But for folks who are somehow still surprised by this administration, this entire party, they're literally normalizing a child sex trafficker. Is anyone there's one guy over on Newsmax who did come out and say, I think Ghislaine Maxwell got railroaded through this entire situation. He's just the one guy. But that's probably coming next because none of it can make sense. Why would we even discuss what it is that she's saying? As soon as Trump's former personal attorney, who's now the deputy attorney general, had a secret meeting 9 hours long that they've just now released because they had that whole meeting about how to go about covering up the Epstein files further. For some reason, this was a part of their plan. After he sat in with his best friend, who's her attorney, and talked about what they wanted to say, why is it that anyone should trust anything they say when they're now believing and quoting a child sex trafficker as some kind of legitimate witness? Chris Christie was on the right track for a minute. So Chris, if you said she has absolutely no credibility because she's a child sex trafficker, she's just looking for a pardon, why the hell is Donald Trump working with her then? Who is he covering up for? But he has to make sure he backs up on that a little bit and says, I still don't believe that Donald Trump had anything to do with anything untoward with Ghislaine Maxwell. He just wants to pardon her because he likes her, because he likes her crimes. What is it about her that he's so infatuated by that he's willing to stick his neck out on the line, which really isn't, because we continue to let him get away with this stuff? Put the whole equation together. Chris Christie's like 2 + 2 is definitely 3.5. It's there, bro. It's right in front of you. He's looking to work with her under unprecedented terms with his former personal attorney in a secret meeting with his best friend, who's also her attorney, to say anything she needs to say to get, first of all, to that lower, lesser prison, the prison camp that she's now in, instead of the full sex trafficker prison that she was in. And for some reason, we can't put the full equation together. And you wonder why. I'm sorry, one more part. Jim Jordan says that Biden's administration was doctoring all this. So did Tim Burchett. In case you guys forgot, Jeffrey Epstein died in prison during Trump's term. Jeffrey Epstein was given that sweetheart deal by his guy, Alex Acosta. They had information, they had control, they had capabilities to do whatever they wanted with these files before Joe Biden came in and did nothing. So when is somebody gonna finally bring all this up? We're literally looking at people lying to our faces about how this has all gone down, and we're like, well, yeah, I guess that's kind of believable. It's not. And I guess they're too afraid to say, as the FBI was redacting and finding every instance of Trump's name in these files and pulling back and blacking it out, that it's absolutely not coincident. It's not curious at all as to why he's doing this. Come on,
I also
bro.
love the idea that well, if they'd seen anything, then they would have just brought it forward. Like the Republicans would be like respectful of that in that case. After, first of all, Merrick Garland, even when the crimes were done in full public view, like January 6th, he didn't want to do anything. And even when you saw the crime, the Republicans never accepted it. Trump stole the documents. They raided the house, they found the documents, and they still never accepted it. Like, come on, that you would have actually respected the process at all if they had moved on.
John, do you know who else this child sex trafficker said didn't do anything? Bill Clinton. She said Bill Clinton never went to the island, never did the massages, he was completely great. So Donald Trump keeps saying Bill Clinton is one of the culprits. So which one of you is lying?
Yeah, why is he lying? By the way, I want to be fair. I said that I didn't trust Maxwell on Trump. I will say I also don't trust her about Bill Clinton. I think he did it. I'm somewhat joking.